Wiggle, wiggle.
Like.
All right, October is upon us, and we all know what that means. Halloween. They're going to be having the Halloween tanks come out. There was a video that some YouTubers had come out with as a sneak peek for what's going to be coming out for this Halloween. They don't talk about it, and I'm guessing it's because Wargaming provided them with these sneak peek videos and told them that they're not allowed to talk about them, is just my guess. Medsy had one, Martin Dogger had one, and it was just the clip itself. It wasn't any voice, nothing, not talking about them. So I'm gonna go in and just I went through these sneak peek clips and paused it, tried analyzing it, maybe coming up with some predictions, just seeing what these things possibly are, what they could be. And so we'll dive in and take a look. There's a few changes that are going to be happening. So when you first go in and you're looking at these sneak peek clips from these YouTubers, you could see that I believe it's the Faust map, I'll have to double check on that, is a nighttime version. We may expect that in the game, which will be kind of cool. They typically do that for the Halloween time event. They'll either change up a map or something. So that's common. So that may be a map that will be the nighttime. And it even looks like you could see some lights on in the windows. So that'll be pretty exciting and cool. The other thing is it looks like the Helsing and the Dracula tank are going to be getting a different war paint, which is quite interesting. It's hard to see exactly what the Helsing will look like since it's on a dark map and it's got a very dark war paint. But here's just some clips or screenshots of what this thing looks like or could look like and what you could expect. The Dracula, the T6 Dracula, it's been in, both Helsing and Dracula have been in the game for a while. But the T6 Dracula also, you can see, has a very different look to it too. I'm not 100% sure like what they were maybe going for here, but it's not just the map turning dark and the two new war paints for the Helsing and Dracula. They're also going to be coming out with two new tanks. And these are just my predictions. First, I'll go in and talk about this little number. This one, from looking at the body and the style of the tank, it looks like a variation of the Stug. In history, there was a variation of the Stug that had these side panels on it. And that's, I think, what Wargaming is incorporating here. Now, the Stug in the game is a tier 5, and in the sneak peek clip, you can see that it's facing other tier 5 tanks. That doesn't 100% mean that it'll be a tier 5, but my guess is this is going to be a tier 5 variation of the Stug. When you're going in and you're looking at the maneuverability, it looks very similar to how the original Stug in the game already functions. So we could probably expect this thing to have about the same maneuverability and also the same crappy armor is just my guess. And so nothing that you can really rely on your armor a whole lot in this thing. Now, there is one clip where it shows, I thought at first it was an A20, but when I went in and took a second look at it, it's a stock T-34 that's starting to come down the hill with half of its hit points, which that tank has, if I remember correctly, somewhere I think like 537, like 550, something around those hit points. And when you zoom in on this clip and it's screenshot, this thing looks like, assuming it's not ammo racking or doing a max roll, it looks like it's doing about 267 damage, which the interesting thing about that is the Stug in the game, it has what looks like this cannon, but the other thing is, as this thing at this angle, the T-34 is coming down the hill, you could see some of the red points on it, which the T-34, it doesn't really have a lot of armor anyway. And so this thing, I don't know, it's kind of interesting because the average damage of the Stug with that cannon, from what I saw in the stats, is only 130. But this thing, when shooting at the T-34 coming down the hill, is showing it's doing like 267 or something. So unless it, like, I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that, but we could probably expect this thing maybe to be a little more derpy, I'm guessing, than the original Stug maybe in the game. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I can also imagine this thing's not going to have excellent penetration, considering just looking at some of the red spots on the T-34 as it's coming down the hill. T-34, like I said, is not a heavily armored tank. So I don't necessarily know, but as you can see here from some of the screenshots, some of like the paint job, or like how the camo's gonna look, very, very interesting. So I'm curious to see, once this thing actually comes out, how it's gonna compare to the original Stug in the game. So anyway, very, very interesting. Then there is this thing. I have no idea what in the world this thing is. This thing, I like, words escape me, because in a lot of tanks that Wargaming has come out with in the past for Halloween event, there's been some kind of like theme, like the Tankenstein. It's kind of like Frankenstein, the T6 Dracula, you know, going off the theme of Dracula, the Helsing, obviously going off Helsing. Then there was the Gravedigger, you know, with the nail gun and stuff like that. So there was kind of like a little bit of a theme, and then and then there's this thing. Guys, what is it? I can't even tell like what this thing is. It looks like it's got some bats floating above it. Based on the maneuverability that I'm kind of seeing in these video clips, it looks like it may be some sort of medium tank is my guess. It's showing it landing on other tanks, blowing them up. So I have no idea. It almost looks like I really have no idea. At first I was like, is it the mum? No, definitely not that. There's red. There's some kind of weird designs all over it. There's bats hovering over it. I mean, are they going for like a chainsaw look with the tracks? Like, what? What is going on here? I don't know. In my opinion, this doesn't look like a very attractive tank. I don't know. I mean, maybe Wargaming should just stick to the classic designs that were provided in blueprints and stuff through history, because just some of these special custom tanks that have come out, outside of things that were similarly designed based off of like other like T6 was like, I guess, a blueprinted like French tank. The Tankenstein was custom from Wargaming, but it at least incorporated different aspects from different tanks to come up with that idea. Anyway, very, very interesting. These are just my 2 cents on maybe just what to expect with the upcoming Halloween event. The tanks, the camo, the map being dark. So keep your eyes peeled and let me know what you guys think and what your thoughts may be for these tanks, and if you guys are excited. So Stud Muffin 1986 here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.